So I've come to document the 1,000 net zero homes in Attercliffe and also the new cycle lanes. But I just thought I'd show you, this is town up here. You can see the changing landscape in town. And this road, Attercliffe Road, will take you into town. But there's two links I've put in the actual description. One is a bird's eye view of where the 1,000 houses are, and also a map of where all the cycle lanes will be. So I've come down to, this is called Lovetop Road just here, nice name, and this is going to be the eastern boundary of it. So you can see some industrial buildings there. They'll just be outside where the houses are, and then you can actually see a big shed up there running down the canal. That'll cut into the development, but it'll stay, and you'll see that on the plan anyway. So we're going to walk up Attercliffe a bit, Attercliffe Road. But as far as I know, these buildings here, and where it says IBAF, this is in the new development. Well, that's what the plans give you the idea of. So I highly recommend looking at the actual cycle route as well on the second link. So there's going to be a cycle lane along Effingham Road to Bernard Road. And various other roads. It'll only be on one side of the road. I'm just coming around. We're going to be on the southern boundary now of the 1,000 houses. There's plans for 1,000 houses, but planning permission's gone through for 360 of them. So I think the work is very imminent now. But you can see that building that's going to cut into the development. It just runs down the side of the canal, and I'll take you around there in a bit. So we're now going to walk along Attercliffe Road, and this is going to be the southern boundary of the development. So all along Attercliffe Road, it's going to be either side, it's going to be a cycle lane, and it's also going to be double red lines, which means no parking, no picking up, no nothing. Now they're talking about having loading bays on side streets and double yellows to allow that. I don't know if they're going to allow them on the actual main road itself. So we'll just go along the southernmost boundary of it all. Now it's a Leeds company actually doing the development. I think it's CITU. But for some reason Sheffield Council's got hold of all this land. I've never known a council acquire so much land, but probably I'm just naive. But as we're coming along here, you're going to struggle, I think, to get a cycle lane and a pathway along both sides of this. You certainly are further along, so I think they're going to narrow the width of the road to get your cycle path and cycle path and pathway along either side. It's going to be a bi-directional cycle lane, but all this lot will be incorporated into the new 1,000 housing development. So which buildings remain and which go is anybody's guess, but I've got a good idea which one will be staying. Whether the bus stop stays, I don't know. That may stay. But this big building here, if you think about Kelham Island and the type of building in Kelham Island, this one's definitely going to stay, be part of the development. But I noticed yesterday walking around, the same sort of people are starting to walk around Attercliffe that were walking around Neepsen at the start of the clean air zone. And basically, it's going to have an effect on the industry because they'll start moaning about having any industry around them, as you can see as we get around it. So we're still on the southernmost boundary, but my view is what you're going to end up is with the middle class moving into this area, and it's probably middle class that can't afford to go in London or Manchester, so they'll be coming to Sheffield. It's not going to be affordable homes for Sheffield working class people, not as far as I know, because it's pushing net zero homes. Now, these two buildings on the corner, I don't think they're going to actually be in the development, because when you look at the bird's eye view, this little bit doesn't seem to be in. But definitely where it says Spartan steel alloys, that is definitely part of the development. So this is the most southern boundary, but this little bit here, if you look on the bird's eye view, this little bit is not on it for some reason, where you can see a bit of grass and that. Probably whoever it is don't want to sell this land to Sheffield Council, or probably not at the rate that Sheffield Council wants it. But we've got some beautiful old buildings left in Attercliffe, which gives its character. So that looks like an old branch. I don't know which one that was because you can see it, but there'll be some interesting footage as I walk around, cobble roads and things like that. But I think this was Yorkshire Bank on the corner, and we're now looking at Attercliffe Rd. And you can see the old Burton's corner. And what I'm going to do in a moment is cross the roads and go up Attercliffe Rd. So we've got some interesting companies around here. This is MA Tooling, but I've seen another one which is Sheffield Tooling Company. But there again, the Yorkshire Bank on the corner of Attercliffe Rd. But what's going to happen is you've got the cycle lanes either side of here. You've got the double red lines all the way here, and it'll be a 20-mile-per-hour zone for cars down to Effingham Road, where that junction was I showed you, and then it'll be 20 mile an hour all the way up to Worksop Road. So just across here you can see Marchway Models and Hobbies. This company's still around. They don't open on a Monday, but they're still going strong after all these years. So we're looking back down Attercliffe Road into Sheffield. I just want to show you the little Carlton pub. When I find something interesting on here, I'll show it you. Proper traditional Sheffield pub. They take cash only. Sounds like a good idea. So these few buildings, when you look at the plan from above, don't appear to be actually in the development, but where this wall begins, that's definitely the west side of the development where the wall's beginning, especially this steel shed. Now there's going to be some cycle lanes up Attercliffe Road, but it only really just comes round the corner of Attercliffe Road. It's probably stopped by now, the cycle lanes. Well, that's what's on the plans anyway. So we're on the west boundary and I'm going to get across the road. So we're on the west boundary, and this is the first bus I've noticed, but when I was a kid we used to get the 85 into Sheffield came down here. We got the 208 into Sheffield, the Wigmore's bus. These shops were all flourishing in those days, and I've just recognised why we used to change buses here. We used to get one bus here and then another bus into Rotherham for something in Rotherham. So this is the western boundary just on this side. What I want to do is just show you the canal, which will run right through it. So we're on Pinfold Bridge, and there's the canal. So you can see this building will be going. I can't this will not be remaining. And then you can see a bridge there. I think they're building a new footbridge across from one side to the other, pedestrian only. But what I want to draw your attention to is you can see the hardcore path here. That takes you into Sheffield. Over my shoulder takes you into Rotherham. 90% of it is actually hardcore. There's a little bit around Tinsley that needs proper attention to, but rather than putting a cycle lane along the road and having a 20 mph zone, they could have encouraged people to use this cycle track to get from Sheffield to Rotherham. So it don't make sense to me why they have to do it on the main road, why they have to. I think they'll be slightly narrowing the main road. They'll be reducing the speed limit all the way along to Worksop Road to 20 mph. But why would you have a 20 mph speed limit on the main road if you've got cycle lanes in? So let's carry on up. So we've got Woodburn Road up here. So Woodburn Road is going to be the north boundary of it all. I find it strange that we built the Don Valley, cost us about 30-40 million quid, and after about 20 years we knocked it down and we got this Woodburn Road. And I'm sure this could have been used for the World Student Games rather than building a new facility. It's still going strong now, but I think the university owns it. So we've got the super tram along here, but we're now on the northern boundary of the development. If you keep looking at the plan, and in the past there would have all been houses up here. It's on Woodburn Road, but I think they've changed the roads around here a bit as well. So this is the most northern boundary of the plan, and at the moment it's been left to wild. But what we should have been doing in the 1970s is we should have been building nice new houses for the working class around here. But all Sheffield City Council seems concerned about is these middle class champagne socialist voters more than anything else. So this is still the northern boundary, but I think these would have been houses at one bit around here, but it's been left like this since the 60s and the 70s to wild over. I think there was a park area, and we're going to go in the park area in a moment, but you can see the Woodburn Road Athletic Stadium, and you'll see that on the bird's eye view. If I just zoom down here, you'll just be able to see a junction. I'm just going to walk up to that junction. So this is still the northern side of the development, but you can start to see they've got some machines in here now. I don't know if this is to do some stuff on the road around it, but I'll find out in a moment. Yesterday when I came down, there were people doing dog training in the middle of it, and I was explaining to them what was going to go off around here, but I'm not really sure I got their attention fully. So we're still on the northern boundary, and now we're sort of coming onto the east. Well, sorry, still the northern, but we're gonna keep this. All these industrial units will stay. So these, but we're just gonna go in and have a quick look in this area. But bear with me, because it'll get more interesting up Worksop Road and places along Attercliffe Common. So we've got Ripon Street here, and Harrow Street, but these are all staying here, and you can actually see it on the plan, on the bird's eye view. So all this green at the top, below Woodburn Road's in it, and then we've got some massive green space here, which I'm just going to walk into for you. If you've seen one of my other videos, you'll already have got a good idea of this, but I want to show you the eastern boundary, and also a bit along Attercliffe Road, and also Worksop Road. But yesterday they were all dog training in here. I don't know how they got the vehicles in, so they must have got some agreement with the council to do this. So all this will be part of the 1,000 houses. But to start with, it's been staged. They've got permission for 360. It's 300 million that's been put into it. But I think the developer's putting the money in and Sheffield Council's putting the land into it. But there's an awful lot of questions to ask and we're never going to get the answers. So all this green space will all go. I'm sure they'll have green within the development, but you'll not have this amount of green because they'll be packing houses in. And I don't think they're going to be affordable houses. Because when you look at Hyde Park or Park Hill flat development, I think Urban Splash got that for £1 off Sheffield City Council, and they've redone it up. But you're not going to get you don't get many working class people, Sheffielders, in the Park Hill Hyde Park development. It's mainly the middle class. And at the moment, I think there's a housing stock of 38,500 council houses. At the moment, 10,000 of those council houses need repairs. That was from about January to April of this year, and 90% of them have had a long time to wait. So that's 90. So the council's not doing the bread and butter stuff they should be doing. They're getting involved in far too much nonsense. So we need to go just round this bit to get the east side of it. So I'll just forward my camera on a bit. So I'm walking up to these traffic lights up here, and when I get there I'm going to go down from there, and that's going to be the eastern side of the development. So you've got these units along here that's going to stay. I noticed one of them's a powder coating service, so I don't know how much noise these make, you know, like when, but then there's an awful lot of traffic as well, so you probably wouldn't hear the traffic above the noise. We'll get up to the traffic lights and I'll show you the east side. So this is the modern tram system, but I think the original one actually ran along the main road, along Attercliffe Road. So we're now on Worthing Road. So you can see the green stuff. The green stuff is actually inside the development. So this is going to be the east side, and where you see this line down, so you see this road down, anything on the right hand side is going to be in the plan. So all the green space is part of the development. So we should be on the east side now of the bird's eye view, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to zoom right down here. So I'm going to walk to the end of this road. It saves me showing the same bit of boring road. So it takes you up to Park Hill or Hyde Park Flats there. So we're on Bacon Lane. Now anything to the right of these buildings will be in the development, but these buildings will be remaining to the best of my knowledge. It's just the green space behind them. And you'll get the picture in a moment. So these buildings will remain, but anything to the right of it where you can see the trees will be part of the new development. But I came yesterday and I had to do myself a map and come back. We're on Bacon Lane. So these will remain, but I don't know if they'll make a lot of noise when people are living next door to them. But we're just going to come down to the canal and you'll get the idea from here. We've still got some steel going off in Sheffield by the looks of it. Probably a lot more than we think, but we did lose 60,000 steel jobs in the 1980s. They really hammered the steel industry. So thankfully all this lot will stay. But anything on the other side of it will go, but you've got the canal now. And you can see this building, so this building will remain. It'll cut into the development. But if you look on the plan at the east side, you'll be able to see the line up from the top where Love Top is to just here. You can get an idea. It's a bit difficult with some of these buildings around here, but that's definitely remaining, and then it cuts into the development, and on the other side there there'll be the green stuff, and then it'll cut down to there. So I'm now going to get onto Attercliffe Road and show you from there. So you've got the old Woodburn Hotel. I think it's been apartments for a long time, or somebody's house. We'll get that back down to Attercliffe Road. So if I sort of come from here, looking at the bird's eye view, on the eastern side, anything on the right hand side of all the buildings that we've just come past will be inside the development, and it'll cut down to Love Top Road. That's the best way to explain it. Just imagine from here, on the right hand side of all the buildings on Bacon Lane, it'll cut down with a straight line to Bacon Lane on that bird's eye view. So we'll get right back down to Attercliffe Road. Thought I'd just show you the sign, 1862 on the Carlton pub. So we've got Attercliffe Road up there. What I want to do is just show you down there. So if I zoom right down there, that building on the corner, I think it was a massage parlour many years ago. That's where Effingham Road is, so it's going to be cycle lanes either side, double red lines all the way down, and it's going to be a 20 mph speed limit, even though people have got cycling lanes. So they're using the cycling to drop the speed limit down on the main road to 20 miles an hour. But then it'll carry right on to Workshop Road, that 20 mph. But as you can see here, this isn't wide enough for a cycle and a footpath. So we'll have a walk along here now. You can see the fantastic old banners store up there, as good as out in London. Now I've actually cycled in 14 miles today on my bike. So I've got 14 miles here and 14 miles back, and you see it's sky, so it's a really warm day. And I'm just proving that I'm not anti-cyclist, I'm just anti the agenda. So I normally park up this side of Banners in the car park, but they're going to block this side off. You can actually see that they load up all the way along here, but they're going to struggle with a double red. So whether they put small parking bays along the front and whether they put them on the side streets, I don't know. But you can see here, this is not wide enough for a cycle lane and a footpath down here at all. But this used to be so exclusive. There used to be Christmas trees all the way along this top level at Christmas. Some great pictures of it. Now I'm not sure if the cyclists will have priority over the cars at junctions or not along here. There's an awful lot of information to take in. You see the streets at the moment. There's going to be some massive changes around here. I don't think people realise it. Same again here, there's no way you're going to get a cycle path and a footpath along here, so this road's going to get narrowed and squashed. So it'll be one lane in either direction. It'll probably not be a middle thing anymore. They'll be jiggering and pokering about with all the junctions along here. But you need to go to this second link I've given you with the plans on there to get the full cycle thing. Told that I'd find you some interesting stuff. So this is Sheffield Tooling Company. Fantastic window display. Just down here is Zion Lane. You might as well have a quick look while I'm here, because I love this little lane down here. There used to be a church here that got burnt down. Surprise, surprise. I think it was burnt down in the 80s possibly. You can see Zion Lane. It's down there. Can't see a lot on my screen, so hopefully you can see it. So on one side of that used to be a church, and you've got the Zion Sabbath School up there. Let's get back onto Attercliffe Road, which got some interesting stuff, Attercliffe, because it never got knocked down in the 70s. They've kept so much of it, but just imagine the mayhem along here when they start narrowing this down. As you can see, there's no way you're going to get a cycle and a footpath down this. Well, I can't believe you can, otherwise you're going to be falling over each other. So I think they're going to end up with this middle reservation disappearing and the cars being pushed closer together to each other. That's probably why they're reducing it to 20, because it will make it more dangerous for the car drivers. So I don't know what streets are being altered, but the detailed plan will show you. But we're up to Waterside Road in a moment, but what I want to do is I want to show you the Adelphi as well while I'm here, before I go up Waterside Road. So you can see more work going ahead. This is where Attercliffe Church used to be, a beautiful church. Probably the same size as Sheffield Cathedral. Got bombed in the Second World War because there was a gun making company behind it. That's where Attercliffe Church was. You'll find pictures on Google. So we're coming up to Waterside Road now. So we're going to sort of turn to Attercliffe Common, and all the way up to the Premier Inn. It'll be cycle lanes either side, double red. The other thing is, along Attercliffe Common there's actually a bus only gate, and that's actually going to be extended along Attercliffe Common, but you can see that on the map. But we're now going to go down Waterside Road because there's going to be cycle lanes all the way up here as well. Now I think that was Rossington's, a DIY or something like that. It was built in 19th century. It's had a food, sort of oriental food place in it, but that's actually British and 19th century. I've got to try and get across this road. I just want to show you something before I do show you Worksop Road. Just there is the Don Valley Hotel. I don't know if that's the original name of it, but we've only got two pubs I think along this stretch now, Carlton and the Don Valley. So that's it. It used to be a pub crawl along here, ain't anymore. So I've got to try and get my way across this road, but the 20-mile-per-hour zone ends here. So you've come all the way from Effingham Road up there to here. Cycle lanes the other side, double reds, and then so it'll be 20 mile an hour up to here, and then along here the cycle lanes will continue to the Premier Hotel, Premier Inn Hotel. So once it gets to the Premier Inn or Hotel, whatever they call it, it'll actually stop, I think, and get connected up to something else. But I think eventually they want to take that all the way down to Magna. So we're now going to have a quick walk up Worksop Road. Takes you into Darnall. Now, this was originally a pub, it's now apartments. It says 1772 on it. Now, some guys said it was called the Britannia pub, this one. But there's another pub round here as well, or was another pub. So, if that's the Britannia, it's the Britannia, but I'm going to show you another pub up here. But it's going to be cycle lanes all the way up here, either side, double reds, lines. And just remember, double red means you can't stop for a second. So unless they put little loading bays along Attercliffe Road, or they do it on the side streets, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare, because a lot of those businesses along there rely on it. We're coming up to where the Don Valley was. I mean, just see that, absolutely ridiculous. You'll not stop that with signs. But there, that was another pub which is now apartments. I've vlogged on it on the past and I can't remember its name. I've just seen something up there I've never seen before. I'm going to have a look at that on the way back. Just see if I can show it you for the moment. It looks like some sort of monument, but just looking for it again, at a distance. There's something down there, but I'll have a look at that later. So the Don Valley was built for 30 or 40 million pounds, only lasted about 20 years. Could have been made cost effective with concerts and public cricket, but that wasn't part of their agenda anymore. Seems like they want to build and destroy. So we've got Cocked Hat just there. It's now Cafe 313. It's in nice good condition, that's great to see. But just here you've got an academy, you've also got university buildings. It's all built on the site of the old Don Valley Stadium. It was a premier athletics stadium in the north of England. There's only one stadium bigger than it now, and that would be where West Ham play at the Olympic Stadium, but that's a reduced capacity now. Now Sheffield Eagles play here. They were playing yesterday when I came up. There's a medical facility around here, but I think this is actually an indoor place. I don't know if it's badminton or something in there. It's called the Cannon Medical Arena. But round the back there's some sort of medical facility. But it was £5 to park here for Sheffield Eagles yesterday. I'm told they get about 200 now. But they've been homeless for so long before they've got this. Now Sheffield Eagles are supposed to be moving to Meadowhead with Sheffield Football Club. But I just want to show you, when they created the Legacy Park, they were talking about a 5,000 seater stadium, I think, which is what's going to go at Meadowhead. But this is the actual stand here. It's just like a roof against a building, and I think it holds about they can get 2,000 in there. Sheffield City Football Club play then, and the Eagles. But that's it. That's the legacy of the Olympics. Basically, they wanted to develop this area for their own needs. So we lost a Premier Athletics ground that cost us 30 or 40 million pounds to build. It's what always happens in Sheffield. So just here, that was another Sheffield pub. It's now an Islamic place. And what we're doing is these cycle lanes carry on up here, either side double reds. And I think along here, cyclists have definitely got priority over car on the majority of it. We're coming to the aqueduct for the canal. And they're doing work on this at the moment. Now, I've had a word with a couple of girls from the Canal Trust, and they said they're regrouting it to stop water seeping out, but to me that's the wrong way to do it. To me, you need to empty the water and actually deal with the issue from the inside, the leakage from the inside, not do it from the outside. I would have thought it wants a new inner on it, so you can leave the actual structure there, but on the inside put a new inner on it of some kind. But that's not what they're doing. They're actually not draining it, they're just re-grouting it, and to me the grout will just push back out again. But it seems like there's no expense spared around here at the moment because of the 1,000 net zero homes or the cycle lanes, etc. They're looking after their own as usual. So cycle lanes will come somewhere past here, but if you look down here, it's only a single lane to drive through now. It used to be double to drive through, and what they've done is put a cycle either side. So I think that'll not change that, and that'll be how it comes through here. But either side, there'll probably be the red stuff put down for cycles and probably alter the pavements. But I'll just show you quickly up here. This takes you into Darnell now. Now we're actually a company called Pringle PCS, and a number of years ago I actually did training courses for them on stress management. They're actually a computer training company. They asked me to do some stress management courses, but it's not a plug. I'm not interested in working with businesses. I've got my own income now. I've no interest working for anybody in the corporate side of things. But this takes you up to Darnell, as I keep repeating, but you can see modern housing here now. It used to be a very industrial area around here. I think Brown Bailey's was around here. Got the Mayflower Company and that. But to me, Attercliffe's been crying out for investment since the 70s. We're going to get, to me, this is the wrong kind of investment. It's not going to benefit the people as a whole across Sheffield. We should have been building affordable homes for working class people and building back our industry, the wealth creating industries. We can manufacture in the UK cleanly, and we should be doing that right now and building back real wealth creation. I know we're getting, let's think about it now, one of the steel companies that's now owned by the government round here, Riverdon Works. It's owned by the Ministry of Defence, and they're building a big new machine shop at Weedon Street. But the trouble is, it's going to be for destroying other things, because it's going to be part of the military side of things. So if you can like the video, follow the channel and click on notifications for new videos. So that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we need a bit of a kickback on this, but I doubt people will do it.